So the first thing we need to install is Visual Studio Code. That is the first application we need to install. So if you kindly go to your web browser and you type in Visual Studio, and you're going to see Visual Studio Code, sorry. So that's the first application which we'll install. So you can see it here, Visual Studio Code. If you click on it, you have download for Windows, or if you have a MacBook, you'll be able to download for your MacBook version. In my case, we're going to download Visual Code for Windows. So when you download the Visual Studio Code for Windows and install your Visual Studio Code, when you download your Visual Studio Code for Windows and install your Visual Studio Code, you're going to have, when you open your application, it's going to open like this. So you have your Visual Studio Code, and at this moment, you will not have Python installed and you will not have any other applications installed in your Visual Studio Code. But Visual Studio Code is simply the platform where we will be writing all of our Python code. So it's important for us to have our Visual Studio Code installed. After you install your Visual Studio Code, the next thing is to install your Jupyter notebooks and your Python within your Visual Studio Code. So if you go to your Visual Studio Code, if you go to the right-hand side, I'm going to increase the fonts. At the right-hand side, you have a tab called Extensions. If you look at it, you have a tab here called Extensions. If you click on this tab called Extensions, you're going to have various applications under the extensions, right? You see there are various applications under extensions. If you type in Python, if you type in Python under the extensions, you're going to see different versions of Python. You're going to see Python Debugger, you're going to see Python, you're going to see Python for Visual Studio Code, and you're going to see other versions of Python. If you kindly go to the Python for Python, where you have the Microsoft, you see this is Python. It has 171 million downloads. This is Python, not the Python debugger. You are interested in Python. This is the Python you are interested in. So it's under the extensions tab. So if you look to your left-hand side, you'll see the tab called extensions. You type in Python and you take the Python, which is Python with Microsoft. You have the blue tick under the Python, which is Python with Microsoft. You can install this Python for Microsoft. So that's the first thing you do. So you install this Python for Microsoft, and you can also so you install this Python for Microsoft. So that's the first thing you do. You install the Python extension under Visual Studio Code. When you install this Python for Microsoft under Visual Studio Code, you also need to install Python within your computer. So if you go back to your browser and you also type in Python, install Python, you should be able to download Python on the here and install the required Python. The latest version is 3.13.3. You can install earlier versions, most likely 3.2. So you can go to, you click on Python. So looking for Python with different areas of Python for Windows, you click on Python for Windows. You see other versions. Most often, we encourage people to install Python 3.12 because it's a very stable version for Python. So depending on your computer, you may have Windows 64-bit or you have Windows 32-bit. Most recent computers are Windows 64-bit. That means it has more storage or more computational capability. So you have Windows 64-bit or Windows 32-bit. So my computer is Windows installer 64-bit. So I'm going to install the Python 3.12 version. So I'll just click on the download Windows installer. and this is going to download the Windows installer for Python 3.12. You can also install whatever version you want. You can install 3.13, it depends on you, but as I said, it's encouraged to install the 3.12 because it's a more stable version of Python. And if you go to your download section, you will see your Python. You just simply run your Python, and you see install now and so on. I already have Python installed, so I'll not go through the installation, but in your case, you just click on install now and walk through the installation procedure, right? You install Python and everything. So install now, and you install Python. So I'll say, if I say yes, so it's installing Python within the computer, Python 3.12. You can see that being installed. So remember, you first install Visual Studio Code. So you go to you go to Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code. So you install, this is Visual Studio Code. You install this software, you see download Visual Studio Code for your Windows. You first install your Visual Studio Code. This is the platform where you will be doing all of your programming activities. So it's important for you, it's important to first install your Visual Studio Code. After you install your Visual Studio Code, remember after you install your when you open that application, your Visual Studio Code, you will have the application look like this. It will be an empty screen, and you just have your Visual Studio Code. You have your file, your edit, your selection. To your left-hand side, you have the extension tab. If you click on the extensions tab, and you type in Python within the extensions tab, you're going to see a list of Python packages which you can install within your Visual Studio Code. Select the Python with Microsoft. It has the blue tick. You see Python with Microsoft and not the Python debugger. You want the Python because you're installing Python programming language. So select the Python with Microsoft, is the most trusted version. When you select it, you have within here, you have install, and you click on install and you install Python within your Visual Studio Code. So that's the first step. So first step, install your Visual Studio Code. Second step, install Python within your Visual Studio Code. After you install Python within your Visual Studio Code, you need to install Python within your computer as well. So you go back to your web browser, and you click on install Python. So you can search install Python. If you remember, you can search install Python, and you'll see the Python website, which is python.org, https python.org. If you click on download Python, you'll see the capability to install either the latest Python, which is Python 3.13. You can install that, or you can install earlier versions by clicking on Windows, depending on your computer. If you're using Windows, you click on Windows. If you're using Mac, you click on Mac, and so on. So if you click on Windows, you can install an earlier version. So we have 3.12, which is a very stable version of Python. So you can install the Python 3.12, and you can install you can click on the download Windows installer 64-bit. As I said, most computers are 64-bit, or most recent computers are 64-bit. If you click on 32-bit or 64-bit, if it doesn't suit the version of your computer, they will let you know. So do not worry about how do I find out if my computer is 64-bit or 32-bit. So you can try starting with 64-bit. You download the Windows installer, and if you can see, after you download, it's going to appear here as Windows Python 3.12. You click on it and you install it. So now my setup, my Python has been successfully installed. So you go through the installation process. At this point, you have installed Visual Studio Code within your computer. You have installed Python within your Visual Studio Code, and you have also installed Python in your computer. So what you do now is that you close your Visual Studio Code. After you install Python within your computer, you close your Visual Studio Code and you reopen your Visual Studio Code. So close it and restart your Visual Studio Code. to close and open your Visual Studio Code. And now you have, if you go now to your extensions, click on your extensions under installed, you're going and you search Python. You're going to, and this is the Python, you're going to see that you have installed the Python. And to test if Python is in, sorry, so I don't know what happened. So I'll click on Visual Studio Code again. I think someone has followed the link. Someone has installed. Okay. They have not launched it. Okay, that's fine. So again, you have your Visual Studio Code. So I have the latest version of this Visual Studio Code. If you go to your extensions and you click on Python and you go to your Python Microsoft, you see that it is installed. And now to test if Python is installed, you can go to your terminal and you click on New Terminal. So you have, so you go to your terminal, you click on New Terminal. So you go to View, so not View, sorry. You go to the three dots up here, you highlight on Terminal, you click on New Terminal, and you're going to open the new terminal. And to check if Python has been successfully installed, you can just type in Python version, and you're going to see Python 3.12. You remember we installed Python 3.12 in our computer. And so when I click on Python version, I'm going to see the version which I installed, which is Python 3.12. So I'm certain that Python has been installed successfully in my computer. And because Python has been installed successfully in my computer, I can now install my Jupyter notebook. So if you go back to our package, we have installed Python in our Visual Studio Code. We now need to install the Jupyter notebooks within our Visual Studio Code. So the first thing again is to go back to your extension. You go to your extension and you put Note Jupyter. You're going to see again a Jupyter by Microsoft. If you click on it, this is Jupyter by Microsoft, and this is the Jupyter you are interested in. If you click on it, let me remove this. If you click on it, you can install it. You see, for me, it's already installed. I can uninstall it for you. If you do not have the Jupyter, when you go to the extensions in your left-hand side and you click on Jupyter, so you search Jupyter, you're going to see the Jupyter package by Microsoft. There will be many others. You see Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Key Map. You are interested in the Jupyter package by Microsoft, which has about 92 million users. And you're going to install that Jupyter package within your Visual Studio Code. After installing your Jupyter package in your extensions, your left-hand side, your extensions, you have installed your Jupyter package. After installing your Jupyter package, what you do is you go back to your terminal again. So you go to terminal to the top terminal. So you see the terminal, you click on new terminal. And here, after installing that Jupyter library, you have to install what we call the IP kernel, which is your Jupyter Notebook kernel. So it's the engine that runs the Jupyter Notebook. And the Jupyter Notebook is simply an interactive version of Python, which we'll use when learning Python, very interactive interface. So you run the pip install within your kernel, pip install IPY kernel. The pip install IPY kernel. So you run that and you're going to install that. So you have the pip install IPY kernel. In my case, because the IPY kernel is already installed, we're going to get, it's going to tell you that this package is already installed. So if you look at it, At the end, you see it says requirements already satisfied, requirements already satisfied, because our our IPY kernel has already been installed. For you who is new, when you run this command called pip install IPY kernel, you're going to install the Jupyter kernel within, or the Jupyter notebook within the Visual Studio Code. So remember, to install the Jupyter notebook, you open your Visual Studio Code. To the left hand side, you have the extensions. If you click on the extensions tab, you're going to see a couple of words. You're going to see a couple of packages. You just need to type in Jupyter within the extension list, and you're going to see the Jupyter by Microsoft. If you click on it, you're going to see install the Jupyter by Microsoft. After you install the Jupyter within your extensions, you go to your terminal, you click on new terminal, and you put a pip install IPY kernel, and this will install your Jupyter notebook within your Visual Studio Code. When you have your Python installed and your Jupyter notebook installed, you are ready to work or ready to code in Python. And to be able to check that, you just go and create a new file. If you go to the top left corner, you see file. You can create a new file. When you click on new file, they will ask you, do you want to create a Python file, or do you want to create a Jupyter notebook file? So you see there's a text file, a Python file, or a Jupyter notebook file. If you click on the Python file, for example, this has created a new file, an empty file called, if you see, it has no name, it is untitled. So this is a Python file. You can write your first hello world program, which is just print in brackets hello world. So you write your first Python program, which means you just want to display the word called hello world to your screen. It's just used to test if Python has been installed successfully. And if you come to your right hand side, you see some three dots at your right hand side. If you click on those three dots, you see run Python file. We'll take this up. If you click on the three dots to your right hand side, you see run or debug. If you highlight on the run or debug, you see run Python file. So if I click on the run Python file, I need to save this file somewhere. So I'll save this file as test, and the save as type is a Python file. So I'll save it as a test file, and I'll save it as a Python file. And when I save that file, you see it will run, and at the end, I'm going to see the word hello world. So it has printed the word hello world to me. If I change this to hello Jemima, if I change the hello world to my name, hello Jemima, and I go again to the right hand side, the three dots at the right hand side, I click on it, I click on the run debug, I click on the run file, I'm going to see hello Jemima and not hello world anymore. I'm going to see hello Jemima. And this just says print out any text which I put in the bracket of that print function. So within that print function, I've put in the word hello Jemima. So that just prints out the name hello Jemima back to me, the user. So I'm just testing to see if Python has been installed. And because I can see that within the terminal, this hello Jemima has been printed back to me, that means Python has been successfully installed within my Visual Studio Code. Secondly, I've tested Python and I know Python is successfully installed. So I go again back to the file in the top left corner and I click on new file. Now I want to test if my Jupyter notebook has been successfully installed. So I click on, you have the text file, the Python file, and you have the Jupyter notebook. If I click on the Jupyter notebook, I'm going to see something like this. So do not save. So I'm going to close this test.py, and now I have my Jupyter notebook, which again, it has no label. You see untitled, But instead of the Python file, all Python file ends all Python files end with the extension .py, which means it's a Python file similar to any other file. So .py means it's a Python file, while .ipynb means it's a Jupyter file. And the only difference between a Python file and a Jupyter file is that a Jupyter file is more interactive. Within a Jupyter file, you can now see what we call cells, and you can see the code within the cells. And so let's write the same print function which we wrote in the Python file. So I'll write print hello Jemima within our print function. So print hello Jemima. So the hello Jemima must be in quotation marks because it's a text. So print hello Jemima. You see now it's in a cell, and I can run this cell. You see the execute cell at the left hand side. If I run this cell, it tells me I need to select the Python environment which I want to run this cell. If I click on Python environments, I'm going to see multiple Python versions. If you remember, we just installed Python 3.12. If I click on Python 3.12, I'm going to, you see at the top right side, I have my kernel, which is a Python 3.12. So the Jupyter Notebook is still a Python version, but a more interactive Python version. That is why you still have to select the Python environment which you want to run your code. And you see we now have the Python 3.12. And you see when I run the cell now, it prints out hello world now in an interactive nature. I can create a new cell by clicking on the plus code. If I click on the plus code, I'll create a new cell. Within this new cell, I can still run print hello Jemima 2. And if I run this cell, execute this cell, you're going to see, I can see hello Jemima 2. So that means I have successfully installed Python. I have successfully installed our Jupyter Notebook within our Visual Studio Code. So we have what we need to be able to learn Python and to use Python for data analysis. And the next step is to install your Tableau. Tableau is what we will use for visualizations. We will use Python to analyze and clean our data, and we'll use Tableau to visualize our data. So because Tableau is a proprietary software, it means it's not free. That means we need to install the public version. So if you click on Tableau Public, if you search in your Google search, you search Tableau Public or Tableau Public download. You're going to see the download, the link which says download Tableau Public. If you click on it, yeah, you have to enter your name, first name, your business email. In this business email, you can also enter your private email if you do not have a business email. I'll even encourage you to enter your private email here and not your company's email. Enter your country, enter your phone number, you agree, and you download the free, is it the free trial? So this has to be Tableau desktop. No, so we do not want Tableau desktop, we want Tableau public. Yes, so let me see the second tab. So if we scroll down, let's see where we can. So this is Tableau Public. Yes, if we scroll down, we click on Tableau Public. You have Explore Public. If I click on it, it will take me to this version. Sign up for Tableau Public, a free platform to explore, create, and share data visualizations. If I scroll down, this is Tableau Public, and it has many other visualizations. Just scrolling down, and so that's fine. So if I go back up, there should be somewhere to download the Tableau Public. Let me click on sign up for Tableau Public. And yes, this is where you can create your Tableau account, put your name, your password, and you create your account. And after you create your account, you'll be able to download the Tableau Public version. So after you install the Tableau Public, if you go now to your search and you click on Tableau, you're going to have your Tableau Public. And if I click on the Tableau Public app, after I have installed the Tableau Public app, let me click on Learn More and see what happens. Yes. So they try to hide the link for the Tableau Public. So I will click on this Tableau Public. Yeah, so this is where you download the Tableau Public app. I'll add this in the chat as well for people who want to install the Tableau Public. So you put in your name. Again, you do not need to put in your business email. You can put in your private email and you put in the download app. You'll be able to download the Tableau Public app and install within your computer. So again, let's walk through the steps to download Tableau Public. The first thing is that you search Tableau Public download. When you search the Tableau Public download, you're going to see the Tableau Public, which is the second. You see Tableau Public here. If I click on it, it's going to tell you. So Tableau Public, again, it's a visualization tool used to create visualizations, which we're going to use. You click on Explore Tableau Public. When you click on Explore Tableau Public, it's going to take you to this tab. You have the sign up for Tableau Public and you have Learn More. Click on Learn More. And after you click on Learn More, you're going to see they're going to tell you more about what Tableau Public is. So Tableau Public is a free platform to explore and create and publicly share your data visualizations. Because remember, the normal Tableau is proprietary, so you need to buy that normal Tableau, but Tableau has created a free version called Tableau Public. So it's going to tell you. If you scroll down within here, you're going to see Tableau Desktop Public Edition. Click on the Tableau Desktop Public Edition and you're going to see this form where you put in your first name, your last name, your email address, your role, and your country, and you're going to download the Tableau Public app. After you download the Tableau Public app, you install the app into your computer. And when you install the app into your computer, when you open that app, it's going to look like this. So this is the app. When you open the Tableau Public app, this is how it's going to look like. And now you can connect this app to any specific data set which you would like to visualize. So if you go to file, you can, or if you go to a file, you can select whichever file you would like to analyze. And it can be an Excel file, it can be a different format. You see there are different formats of files here. It can even be a PDF file, which you can connect your Tableau Public to that particular file for you to analyze. But we will get to that point. As soon as you get to this stage, you are fine, because when we get to the point where we are visualizing data, we're going to see how to play around with Tableau Public. So that is how you install Tableau Public within your computer. So again, I have demonstrated how to install Visual Studio Code, how to install Python within Visual Studio Code, how to install Python within your computer, how to install the Jupyter within Visual Studio Code, and use what we call the pip install command within your terminal to complete the installation of Jupyter. So after you install Jupyter within the extensions of Jupyter Notebook, and within the extensions of Visual Studio Code, you also need to go to your terminal and run the command pip install IPY kernel to finalize the installation of Jupyter Notebook. And after you have installed Jupyter Notebook and you have installed Python within your computer, you can go and create files, new files. You can create new files. You can create a Python file, or you can create a Jupyter Notebook file just to test if your Jupyter Notebook and your Python have been successfully installed. If they have been successfully installed, you are good to go. After that, you go and you try to install Tableau Public. I've shown you the step-by-step process on how to install Tableau Public within your computer. As long as you have Tableau Public and you have Python, you are good to go. the final thing is to ensure that you have Excel as well. Is to ensure that you have Excel within your computer as well. So obviously, if you have Microsoft installed, you should already have Excel within your computer. And Excel will be using Excel also to clean, analyze, and do some statistical analysis, things like machine learning and other statistical analysis within Excel. And Excel is very powerful. Obviously, Excel has some limitations, and that's why we are learning Python, because there's very large files which Excel cannot analyze, and also it's difficult to create automated pipelines within Excel. So if in terms of automation, it's good to use Python. In terms of analyzing very large files, it's good to use Python instead of Excel. But we are going to demonstrate how to analyze data within Excel, and we'll replicate the same steps within Python and show how to analyze data within Python and how to automate the data analysis pipeline within Python. So if you have your Excel installed, you can open your Excel, and this is how Excel looks like, structured platform with rows and columns. Most of us are familiar with Excel. So have your Excel installed as well. And for SQL, which is creating databases and analyzing databases, within this course, we'll be using an online version of SQL. So if I close these tabs and I open a tab, we'll be using what we call SQL-workbench.com. So SQL-workbench.com. We will use this website to be able to create our databases. And the reason why we are using this website is for us is to eliminate any installation issues. So we'll be using the SQL-workbench.com to be able to work with SQL and see how we can create databases and retrieve data from databases. So we'll use SQL-workbench.com, and we'll also use SQL-practice.com. So these are the two websites which we'll be using to learn how to create a database, to store data into a database, and also to retrieve data from databases. We'll be using the SQL-workbench.com, and we'll be using the SQL-practice.com. These are the two websites we'll be using to learn SQL. And I think that is all for now. And I will stop recording.